Picture this: the faint hum of a lawnmower slicing through the stillness of a Saturday morning, the scent of freshly cut grass sneaking through an open window, and me, standing at the kitchen sink, staring at a single coffee mug that isn't mine. It's not the mug that's got my attention, though. It's the lipstick stain on the rim, a shade of crimson I've never worn. I'm Elena, 34 years old, and up until this moment, I thought I knew every inch of my life, every predictable corner of it. But that smudge of red is like a crack in a mirror, showing me something I wasn't ready to see. I've always been the kind of woman who colors inside the lines. Growing up, I was the kid who turned in homework a day early, who followed every rule like it was carved in stone. That didn't change when I became an adult. I built a life that looks perfect on paper. A cozy suburban home with a neat little garden out front, a steady job as an accountant where numbers always add up, and a husband, Marcus, who's been by my side for nearly a decade. Marcus is the kind of man who can charm a room without trying, with a laugh that fills up empty spaces and a knack for making even the mundane feel exciting. We met in college, back when I was all about structure, and he was the whirlwind who swept me off my carefully planned path. Together, we've crafted this quiet, comfortable existence in our 2-story house on Maple Drive, where the biggest drama is usually deciding what to cook for dinner. But comfort can be a cage, can it? I've felt it creeping in lately, this sense of sameness. Every morning, I wake up at 6:30, brew the same medium roast coffee, and scroll through the same news app while Marcus hums off key in the shower. I drive the same route to work, park in the same spot, and come home to the same routine of TV shows and early bedtimes. It's not that I'm unhappy, far from it. There's a safety in knowing what tomorrow will bring. Yet, standing here at the sink, that lipstick stain glares at me like a question mark I can't ignore. It's not just about the mug, it's about what it represents. A tiny fracture in the life I've so carefully constructed. I've always prided myself on being observant, on catching the little details others miss. It's why I'm good with numbers, why I can spot an error in a spreadsheet from a mile away. But have I been blind to something closer to home? Marcus has been different lately, though I can't quite pin it down. He's still the same man who leaves sticky notes on the fridge with silly doodles, who insists on movie marathons on rainy weekends. But there's a distraction in his eyes sometimes, a faraway look that wasn't there before. I've told myself it's nothing, just the ebb and flow of along. A few days after finding that mysterious lipstick stain on the mug, I'm still unsettled, but life keeps moving forward. It's a quiet Thursday evening now, and I'm in the kitchen with Marcus, the air thick with the rich, fruity aroma of a Pinot Noir we're sharing. The cool marble countertop feels smooth under my fingertips as I trace absent-minded patterns on its surface, the soft hum of jazz drifting from a small speaker in the corner. The wine tastes tart on my tongue, a sharp contrast to the warmth of the room, and for a moment, everything feels deceptively normal. Marcus is across from me, leaning casually against the counter, his posture relaxed, but his presence somehow electric. He twirls the stem of his glass between his fingers, the motion almost hypnotic, and I catch the glint in his hazel eyes, a mix of mischief and something deeper, something sincere that makes my stomach flip in a way I can't quite name. Then he leans in just a little closer, his tone dropping low and intimate, like he's sharing a secret meant just for me. Have you ever thought about being with a woman? The question hits me like a sudden gust of wind, knocking the breath right out of my chest. A nervous laugh escapes before I can stop it, sharp and awkward, and I feel my cheeks flush hot as I lift my glass to my lips, sipping the wine to buy myself a few precious seconds. My mind is a whirlwind, spinning with thoughts I've never dared to speak aloud. Because the truth is, I have thought about it, not often, not seriously, but in fleeting private fantasies that I've always tucked away in the darkest corners of my mind. I remember a vague memory from college, a crush on a female friend that I told myself was just admiration, just a passing phase. Her laugh, the way her hair fell over her shoulder when she studied, I dismissed it as nothing back then. But now it flickers in my memory like a half-forgotten dream. I hesitate, my eyes darting to the window where the last light of the day is fading, then back to Marcus. I'm searching his face for any hint of mockery, any sign that this is just a joke, but there's none. His gaze is steady, curious, and open, waiting for me to fill the silence. My voice comes out barely above a whisper, so soft I'm not even sure he'll hear it. Yes, but only in my imagination. The words hang between us, heavy and fragile, like they might shatter if I say anything more. Marcus doesn't flinch, doesn't laugh. Instead, a slow, knowing smile spreads across his face, and there's no judgment in his eyes, just this quiet intrigue that makes my heart pound even harder. He chuckles softly, a sound that eases the tension just a fraction, and says, "Imagination's a powerful thing." Then, as if sensing I need a reprieve, he shifts the conversation to something lighter, asking about our plans for the few days after that charged conversation in the kitchen. I'm still reeling from the weight of my own confession, though I've tried to push it to the back of my mind. It's a lazy Saturday morning now, and I'm sitting at the breakfast table, the sunlight streaming through the window and casting golden patches on the wooden surface. Marcus is across from me, scrolling through his phone with a casual air, his coffee steaming beside him. I'm buttering a piece of toast, the scrape of the knife against the bread the only sound between us for a moment. Then, out of nowhere, he looks up and says, "By the way, I've invited someone over for dinner tonight." His tone is so offhand, so matter-of-fact, that I barely register it at first. I glance at him, my curiosity piqued but not urgent, and ask, "Oh? Who is it?" He just shrugs, a small smirk playing on his lips, and mutters, "You'll see. Just an old friend." I don't press him further. Marcus has always liked his little surprises, and I figure it's probably a colleague or someone from his past I've heard about in passing. So I nod, take a bite of my toast, and let the moment slip away as we finish breakfast in comfortable silence. The rest of the day passes in a blur of small tasks. I decide to make the evening special, even if I don't know who's coming. I tidy up the house, dusting the shelves in the living room and fluffing the cushions on the couch until everything looks just right. I head to the dining room and arrange a vase of fresh lilies on the table, their delicate white petals and sweet scent adding a touch of elegance to the space. In the bedroom, I stand in front of my closet for longer than I'd like to admit, finally pulling out a deep blue dress that hugs my frame in a way that always makes me feel confident. I slip it on, smoothing the fabric over my hips, and catch my reflection in the mirror. There's a nervous energy in my eyes, though I can't quite place why. Later, in the kitchen, I select a bottle of Merlot from our modest collection, running my fingers over the label as I imagine the evening ahead. I prepare a simple roast chicken, the aroma of rosemary and garlic filling the house as it cooks, and I find myself humming softly, almost eager for the night to unfold. When the doorbell finally rings, I wipe my hands on a dish towel and take a deep breath, smoothing my dress one last time before heading to the door. I open it, and there she is, Leah. She's striking in a way that catches me off guard, tall and lean, with cropped dark hair that frames her angular face and piercing green eyes that seem to look straight into me. She's wearing a black leather jacket over a simple white tee, and as she steps inside, I catch the faint scent of lavender clinging to her. Her handshake is warm, firm, and she offers a gentle smile that somehow puts me at ease and unsettles me all at once. Marcus appears behind me, his voice bright as he introduces her. "Elena, this is Leah, an old friend from art school." I manage a polite, "Nice to meet you," though my mind is already racing with questions about who she is and why I feel this strange pull just from her presence. Dinner unfolds with an ease I didn't expect. We sit around the dining table, the lilies in the center catching the soft glow of the candles I lit at the last minute. The Merlot flows freely, the clinking of glasses punctuating bursts of laughter as Marcus spins a story about their wild art school days, something about a late-night mural project that ended with them covered in paint and nearly getting caught by campus security. Leah's laugh is low and melodic, and she turns to me with a genuine warmth in her voice, saying, "This chicken is amazing, Elena. You've got a real talent." I feel a flush of pride at her compliment, murmuring a shy, "Thank you," as I sip my wine to hide the smile tugging at my lips. Despite the nerves that still flutter in my chest, my laughter feels real. As the evening stretches on, the dining room chatter fades into a comfortable lull, and I find myself alone with Leah in the living room. Marcus had excused himself a while ago, muttering something about needing to check an email, leaving the two of us on the plush gray couch, the cushions sinking slightly under our weight. The room feels smaller now, more intimate, with the soft glow of a single lamp casting long, gentle shadows across the walls. It paints the space in warm amber tones, softening the edges of everything, including the tension that's been simmering inside me all night. On the coffee table in front of us, our half-empty wine glasses sit side by side, the deep red liquid catching the light like tiny pools of ruby. The faint scent of rosemary from dinner still lingers in the air, mixing with the subtle lavender that seems to follow Leah wherever she goes. Outside, the world is quiet, except for the distant hum of crickets, a rhythmic pulse that feels like it's matching the quickening beat of my heart. Leah's presence beside me is both a comfort and a spark, an electric charge I can't ignore no matter how much I try to focus on something else. I steal a glance at her, noticing how the lamplight dances in her green eyes, how it highlights the sharp line of her jaw. She's taken off her leather jacket now, her white tee clinging just enough to hint at the strength in her shoulders, and I catch myself staring a moment too long before looking away. The air between us feels thick, heavy with unspoken possibilities, like the moment before a storm breaks. I shift slightly, trying to ease the nervous energy buzzing through me, but it only makes me more aware of how close we are, how the space between us seems to shrink with every breath. She breaks the silence first, her voice low and soothing, almost a whisper, as if she's afraid to disturb the fragile atmosphere. "Are you okay, Elena?" There's genuine concern in her tone, and when I look up, she's tilting her head slightly, her short, dark hair catching the light in a way that makes her look almost ethereal, like she's stepped out of some dream I didn't know I had. I try to answer, but the words stick in my throat, so I just nod, my lips pressing into a tight line. My hands tremble a little as I reach for my wine glass, setting it back down on the table with a soft clink that feels louder than it should in this quiet space. I hope she doesn't notice the shake in my fingers, but I feel exposed under her gaze, like she can see right through the calm I'm trying to project. Leah shifts closer then, just a fraction, but it's enough for her knee to brush against mine. The contact is accidental, fleeting, but it sends a jolt through me, and for a split second I freeze, my breath catching. I don't pull away, though. Instead, I let myself relax into it, the warmth of her nearness seeping into me like the heat from the wine. She doesn't move either, and I wonder if she felt that same spark, if she's as aware of this moment as I am. My mind flickers back to that conversation with Marcus in the kitchen days ago, the one that cracked open a door I've kept shut for so long. I thought I'd buried those fleeting thoughts, those quiet curiosities, but sitting here with Leah, they're clawing their way to the surface, demanding to be felt. Then, slowly, deliberately, she reaches out. Her fingers graze my jawline, the touch so light it's almost a whisper against my skin, but it sets every nerve on fire. I can feel the warmth of her hand, the slight roughness of her fingertips, and it's as if time slows down, each second stretching into eternity. My skin tingles where she touches me, a shiver running down my spine, and I'm caught between a rush of guilt and a wave of longing I can't quite name. It feels so natural, though, like I've known her touch forever, like my body has been waiting for this without me even realizing it. Her eyes search mine, deep and questioning, as if she's asking for permission, waiting for me to decide what happens next. My breath hitches, and in that suspended moment, I make a choice I never thought I'd make. I lean into her touch, closing the fragile distance between us, my heart hammering so hard I'm sure she can hear it. Our lips meet, tentative at first, a soft brush that feels like testing the edge of a cliff. It's hesitant, almost fragile, like we're both afraid of shattering whatever this is. But then something shifts, a dam breaking inside me, and the kiss deepens with a hunger I didn't know I carried. My hands find her shoulders, fingers curling into the fabric of her shirt, as if I need to anchor myself to her, to this moment before it slips away. Her lips are softer than I ever imagined, a stark contrast to anything I've known before. And there's a tenderness in the way they move against mine that sends warmth flooding through me. I can taste the faint hint of wine on her breath, a subtle tang that mingles with the sweetness of the moment, and it's intoxicating in a way the Merlot never was. Her hands slide to my waist, pulling me closer with a gentle but firm grip, and I feel the heat of her body against mine, a warmth that seeps into my skin and sets every nerve alight. The scent of lavender surrounds me, delicate yet overwhelming, mixing with the distant aroma of rosemary still lingering from dinner. My heartbeat thunders in my ears, a relentless drum that drowns out everything else. The crickets outside, the faint hum of the house settling, even the nagging voice in the back of my mind whispering that this is wrong. The living room fades away, the amber glow of the lamp blurring into nothingness until it's just us, tangled in a raw, unspoken connection that feels both terrifying and inevitable. I'm acutely aware of the betrayal woven into this moment. This is infidelity, a line I never thought I'd cross, even with Marcus's strange, unspoken permission hanging over us like a shadow. I think back to that conversation in the kitchen, his question that pried open a hidden part of me, and I wonder if he knew it would come to this. The guilt is there, sharp and jagged, slicing through the haze of desire, but it's drowned out by an exhilaration I can't control. I feel alive in a way I haven't in years, like I've been sleepwalking through my life and only now woken up. Every touch, every breath, is a revelation, peeling back layers of myself I've kept buried under routine and expectation. Leah's breath against my neck sends shivers cascading down my spine, her lips trailing just below my jaw for a fleeting second. And it's like time itself stretches and collapses, each heartbeat an eternity and a blink all at once. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I catch a glimpse of movement, a shadow in the hallway beyond the living room. My gaze flickers there for just a moment, and I see him, Marcus. His silhouette is barely visible in the dim light, standing motionless, a silent observer to this unraveling. His face is unreadable from this distance, shrouded in darkness, but his stillness is both unsettling and strangely permissive, like he's giving space to something he's already accepted. My stomach twists, a fresh wave of guilt crashing over me, but I don't stop. I can't. The pull of this moment, of Leah, is too strong, a current I'm powerless to fight. I turn my focus back to her, letting myself sink deeper into the intensity of it all, her hands tightening on my waist as if she senses my fleeting hesitation and wants to keep me here, with her. It's not just physical, though the heat of her touch and the rhythm of our breaths are enough to make my head spin. It's something more, something deeper. A mirror held up to a part of myself I've suppressed for so long I almost forgot it existed. I've spent years building walls around those quiet curiosities, telling myself they were nothing, just fleeting thoughts not worth exploring. But now, with Leah, those walls are crumbling, and I'm seeing myself in a way I never dared to before. As the intensity of the moment with Leah begins to ebb, a heavy stillness settles over me, like the quiet after a storm has passed. My breath is still uneven, my heart a wild drum in my chest, but the reality of what just happened crashes over me with a force I can't ignore. I pull back slightly, my hands lingering on her shoulders for a moment longer before they fall to my lap. Her green eyes search mine, a flicker of uncertainty there, but also something warm, something that tells me she felt the weight of this just as much as I did. I don't know what to say, don't know how to bridge the gap between what I've just done and the life I've always known. My gaze drifts back to the hallway, where Marcus still stands, his silhouette a quiet sentinel in the dim light. The sight of him there, watching without a word, twists something deep inside me. Guilt, yes, but also a strange sense of inevitability, as if this was a path we've all been walking toward without realizing it. I stand slowly, my legs unsteady beneath me, and take a tentative step away from the couch. The floor creaks underfoot, each sound amplified in the suffocating silence of the house. My hands fidget at my sides, fingers twisting together as I brace myself for what comes next. I can feel Leah's eyes on me, but I don't look back, not yet. My focus is on Marcus now, on the man who's been my anchor for so long, the one I've just betrayed in a way I never thought possible. Each step toward him feels heavier than the last, the distance between us stretching and shrinking all at once. As I get closer, I can finally make out his face, and it's a mosaic of emotions I can't fully decipher. There's no anger in his eyes, no sharp edge of betrayal that I feared I'd see. Instead, there's a quiet intensity, a depth that makes my throat tighten. His hazel eyes hold mine, and for a moment, I feel like I'm drowning in the unspoken questions between us. I stop just a few feet away, close enough to feel the familiar pull of his presence, but far enough that I'm not sure I deserve to cross that final barrier. My voice comes out shaky, barely more than a whisper, trembling with the weight of everything I'm carrying. I'm sorry, but I'm not. The words hang there, raw and unpolished, a confession and a contradiction all at once. I don't know if I'm apologizing for what I've done or for the fact that I can't regret it, not fully. My chest aches as I wait for his reaction, my breath shallow, my hands still restless at my sides. He doesn't speak at first, doesn't move. The silence stretches on, thick and heavy, until I think I might break under its pressure. Then, without a word, he steps forward and pulls me into his arms. The motion is sudden but gentle, and I'm enveloped by the warmth of him, the familiar scent of his cologne, sandalwood and something faintly citrus, grounding me in a way I didn't expect. I rest my head against his chest, the steady thrum of his heartbeat a quiet rhythm beneath my ear, a reminder of the life we've built together. His arms tighten around me for a brief moment, a silent reassurance that catches me off guard, and I let myself melt into the embrace, even as confusion and guilt swirl inside me. My voice is barely audible as I speak again, my words muffled against the fabric of his shirt. Now I know what it's like. And I want more. It's a confession I didn't plan to make, one that spills out before I can stop it, the weight of it lifting off my shoulders as soon as it's said. I feel Marcus's breath hitch slightly, a subtle reaction that tells me he heard every word, that he's processing the enormity of what I've just admitted. I don't dare look up at him, not yet, afraid of what I might see in his expression. But I need him to know this truth, to understand that something has awakened in me tonight, something I can no longer ignore. And as the silence stretches between us, I finally muster the courage to meet his gaze, hoping to find acceptance in his eyes. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.